up in Nigeria, you probably heard this sentence before. If you can afford it, just send your child to a private university. And then something immediately comes to mind. Money. Because private universities in Nigeria are not just expensive, they are freakishly very expensive. Like, I'm talking about millions every session.
What?
Yet somehow, every year, more parents still choose private universities over federal and state universities that are way cheaper. So the real question is, why? Well, the reasons might actually shock you, so you might want to stay till the end of this video. Yeah, you don't want to leave. You want to stay till the end of this video. Yeah. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, hi. If you're not new here, nice to have you back. Over here we talk about the real Nigerian university experience, the things most people are scared to say. In this video, we're going to be talking about private universities and the reasons why, despite the freakishly high expensive school fees, parents still prefer private universities over federal and state universities. Without wasting much time, let's just get straight into the video. Let's start with the biggest reason: strikes. If you are a student in Nigeria, then you should understand what I'm talking about. Public universities are always affected by these strikes organized by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, also known as ASU. And anytime these strikes hit, everything just disorganizes, everything scatters, school just stops. Classes stop, lectures stop, everything just pauses. And because of that, a lot of students end up spending up to months, years even, in the house doing nothing. What the fuck? Like, I remember in the past, there was someone that I used to know. She attended Uniport. I'm gonna put the full meaning of that on the screen somewhere. She was studying a 4 years program. I think it was philosophy. Yeah. During her time, Uniport went on strike 2 times. 2 times. And a course that she would have finished, gotten done and dusted with, graduated even in 4 years, took her 6 years. I think she said even 7. So imagine that kind of like, no. Because of that, majority of parents decide to take their kids to private universities because in private universities, none of that is gonna be able to manifest. If you're studying a course of 4 years, 5 years, you will graduate in 4 years or 5 years, depending on the number of years your course actually does take. So because of that, majority of parents are willing to take the sacrifice. Another reason parents prefer private university is security. Now let's talk about something that has been known since the dawn of ages. Majority of public universities are the exact opposite of what a safe space is. Now, I know that may come off as a bit strong, but then again, we cannot deny the fact that majority of public universities have been struggling with issues like cultism, violent clashes, and general safety concerns. You know, these public universities, majority of them are usually very large and open. Thousands of students, different hostels outside the university campus, different groups. Sometimes trying to control all these stuff can be really, really difficult, which is most likely the reason why majority of public universities tend to be a little bit out of control, safety-wise. But in private universities, that's completely different. In private universities, things are actually way more controlled. Private universities have things like gated campuses, security checks, surveillance, stricter rules about students' behavior. Some private universities even have curfews.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
You know, when parents see this kind of things, they feel like it just gives parents that reassurance that, okay, my child is safe here. You know, and even though majority of students actually do not like all those rules, but parents love them because in their mind, it's like the stricter the school is, the safer my child is. A lot of parents do not play with their children's safety. In fact, Majority of parents, I mean, is there any parent that doesn't care about their child being safe? So yeah, a lot of parents, because of that, are most definitely willing to take the sacrifice of the freakishly expensive school fees that private universities request. Another thing parents love, like completely love about private universities is the class size. Now, in some federal universities, lecture halls can be completely packed. Like, I'm talking about up to 100 students. I think 100 is even a little bit too small. Like hundreds of students in one class.
Huh?
If there's any student in a federal university that's watching this, I just have to ask, how on earth do y'all be surviving? If it were me, like, any student in a federal university, y'all are tough, like, because in private universities, things are a whole lot easier. In that kind of environment where you have so many people in one tiny class, a lot of people will not even be able to breathe properly, you know? How on earth is someone going to be able to actually learn? You know, in that kind of environment, it's going to be a lot difficult for someone to actually be able to ask questions, for someone to actually understand what is being taught, to be able to follow up. Some students may not even know who their lecturer is. But in private universities, things are a lot different. In private universities, classes are usually way smaller. Like maybe 30 students in a class, maybe 60. 60 is even a little bit too much.
Oh my.
So in that kind of environment, things are a lot easier. You know, students can actually ask questions. They'll actually be able to interact with their lecturer. It's going to be a lot easier for them to actually follow up on what is being taught in class, at least in theory, you know, and majority of parents do reason that kind of, you know, that aspect. They do think about that aspect when contemplating, should my child go for a private university? Should she not go to a private university? Will I be able to pay the school fees? You know, when they're contemplating all of that in their mind, this reason comes to mind as well. Now let's talk about something that majority of students usually complain about. In some cases, I think might even almost hate rules. Private universities absolutely love rules. Rules about what you wear when you leave campus, when you come back to campus, attendance, hairstyles, behaviors, all of that stuff. Private universities completely love them. Like, I feel like majority of people know private universities for the, should I say, the older version of secondary school. Because with all those rules, sometimes it can kind of feel like you're in secondary school, but just in a bigger space. A lot of students view that kind of thing as controlling, but many parents actually prefer this because from their perspective, it's like stricter rules means less distraction and more focus on academics. In as much as majority of students view it as controlling, majority of parents view that kind of thing as good discipline, which is another reason why majority of parents are willing to take the sacrifice and pay the hefty amount of school fees that private universities request. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the cost. Private universities in Nigeria are not just expensive, they are abnormally, freakishly expensive. And I don't mean just tuition. Students may also have to pay for things like accommodation, medical charges, ICT charges, development fees, departmental dues. By the time all of that, plus the school fees that are being paid, are added together, some parents end up spending up to millions of naira for just one degree. Now, for majority of families in Nigeria, that kind of money just simply is not possible. Life is hard, especially in Nigeria. Okay, not everybody has it the way some of y'all be having it. Unfortunately, majority are less privileged. Nigeria as a country does not favor a lot of people, which is why federal and state universities still remain the main reason for majority of students. So are private universities better than public universities? Not necessarily. Nigeria has been able to produce many professionals from federal universities But when parents think about private universities, they're usually thinking about three main things: stability, security, and finishing school on time. For many families, those things are worth the freakishly, abnormally high cost, but to other families, the price is just simply too high. But at the end of the day, both private and public universities do have their advantages and disadvantages. But I'm curious though, like, if you had a choice, would you choose a private university or a federal university? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you found this video interesting or helpful, if you were able to learn something new that you did not know before from this video, please do give this video a thumbs up. If you stayed to the end of this video, you are a real one for that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.